Hi there, this is Sean, the Honest Book Reviewer, with another book review. In this video, we're discussing The Home, written by Mats Strandberg. This is a slow burn horror, so it's not a horror that's full of thrills and chills. It's very slow burn, almost psychological. It reminds me in some ways of horrors in the 80s and 90s, early 90s, authors like John Saul. So if you like that type of thing, I think you'll like this book. So in a nutshell, the plot centers around a guy called Joel and his mother Monica. She's got dementia, so Joel's organising to put her into a home. It's more like a dementia ward in a care home. So the start of the novel focuses on that. So we have Joel getting his mother ready for that shift into the home. We have her confusion and her anger and how upset she is about not wanting to leave her own home to go into this ward. And that plays out at the start of the novel. We also have other things going on. So Joel's brother lives somewhere else in the country and doesn't visit often, so he's quite absent. So everything centers on Joel. Now he has to organise everything, and he's the one coping with his mother's anger and how upset she is and all that sort of thing. In the nursing home, in the ward, one of the nurses is a friend from Joel's past. They were friends in their teenage years. So there's a bit of history between them, and they didn't end up departing as friends very well. So there's anger between them as well, quite a lot. So they try to avoid each other a bit at the start. And as the story goes on, they start to talk a bit more and not become friends, but just they mend some of those bridges a little bit. And they need to as the story progresses, and they find out more of the things that are going on. The other residents in the ward are quite engaging. They're all very different. The author, I think, did a great job in creating all these characters, all the patients on the dementia ward, and I think he captured their true essence and their personalities and who they are so well. You feel like you know them and you can picture them, and everything feels so real and so lifelike. As do the nursing staff. They're all very different, and they approach things very differently as well. They approach care differently. They come from different backgrounds and have different things going on in their lives. So they've got good backstories as well, all the nursing staff, and they are very lifelike and very real in this book as well. One of the things we notice at the very start, as he returns home after dropping off his mother at the ward, is that in one of the rooms there's a grease stain on the wall, and he cleans it off, and it doesn't reappear again. But that's the link in the book. So after Monica, the mother, goes to live in the ward, in her room, in different rooms on this ward, little grease stains start appearing, sometimes on walls, sometimes in the ceiling, on different things as well. They just start appearing at odd places in different rooms, and we have the nursing staff notice them at different times and clean them off. Nobody really thinks about it, what it means. Of course, they're just grease stains. No one's going to think they mean anything. But that's the link between the house where Monica used to live and the ward. It's not long before Monica starts to change while she's in this ward. Her behaviour changes. The way she talks to people changes. Everything about her starts to change. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. And other things start to happen in the ward as well. So some of the patients start talking about, we have a new ghost on the ward, and he's not as nice as other ghosts. Someone talks about a guardian angel she sees. Things like that start going on. There's nothing in the book, though, that's really chilling, I think anyway. Nothing that really grips you in a cold embrace, gives you those shivers. So the book is not a horror that's reliant on scares, to drive the plot along or drive the horror element in this book. It's all very subtle. That's all I've mentioned about the plot, because I don't want to give the plot away, because I think this book is worth the read. Even though it's a slow burn horror and it's more psychological, I think it's still worth the read because the characters are so good. And I think the plot was well structured, and I get the impression the author structured this plot before writing it. I honestly think that this author has a great grasp of creating characters, and it must have been a very difficult job to create all these characters, especially the characters with dementia. to make them feel so real and lifelike, not to make them feel gimmicky, like he was just writing what he thought he knew. But I get the impression that he researched it a bit, and he gave them so much life and so much energy, so much vibrancy, and I think he should be really applauded for the effort in creating these characters. Joel is the main focus of the story. So he's the son who took his mother into the ward at the start of this book. He's very complex, and he has a lot of different emotions in this book. Sometimes you really empathise with him and you feel sorry for him. Other times you just think he's a selfish jerk, and it chops and changes a bit. And I think that's a good character because he has a lot of light and shade. He's not perfect, but who in life is perfect? And that's what gives him his realness, I think, in this book. And you just get the feeling that this is another character that the author carefully constructed and really thought about before he started writing this book. Nina is a nurse on the ward, and she's the one who's the friend of Joel, or they were friends in their teenage years. They're not friends now during the start of this novel, and she avoids him at the start. She doesn't want to talk to him because she has so many bad memories about their friendship and how it ended when they were teenagers. But she's also a very complex character and very well structured. Her history is so good, and it's her history and the way she interacts with other people outside the ward, so people in her personal life, that drive her behaviour on the ward as well. And that history also drives what she thinks about caring for people and how she goes about that. So I think this character is very consistent, feels very real, and is another strong character in this book. Monica is Joel's mother. This is a very good character. I thought the author did a great job in creating this character with dementia. Getting those scenes where she's lucid and then the scenes where she's not. And even in a certain scenes, she chops and changes between the two. And she's the main focus of the horror element as well in the book. And just the way the author handled that, I think it was done in a special way. And it makes this character feel so real and so lifelike. She's got moments of where she's so vulnerable. She's got moments where she's also strong and, pig-headed and stubborn. She's a whole mixture of things. But I think the author's captured this true essence of someone with dementia. And I think to do that so wonderfully in a book shows a great deal of care, but also a great deal of courage to write these characters with dementia, and so many of them. I think the author had a great deal of courage to do that. The Home is a good book. It's not perfect in any way, but it's a good slow burn horror with psychological elements as well. I rate it a 3 out of 5. 3 out of 5 mainly because of the characters. I thought the characters were superbly done. I just think they're brilliant. The characters, the patients, the nursing staff, the other characters in the book, I thought they were all so well done. The plot itself is good. It seemed well plotted and well created. The ending I didn't really like that much. It seemed like a bit of a cliche end. I get the impression the ending's there to maybe open up a sequel to this story. I'm not sure if there will be one, but it opens up the possibility of there being one, in my opinion. So it's a very strong book. It's a solid book. Not brilliant, but you can see that the author knows how to write, and you get the impression that any book this author could do has a chance of being a perfect book, a brilliant book. On my channel, I do review other horror novels. If you don't want to miss out on horror novels that I do review, check out my channel and subscribe. There's also a horror playlist on my channel. It should be on your screen now.